E3 is winding down. The busiest time of year for Nintendo seems to be wrapping up, and we've gotten a ton of announcements. But wait, there's one more thing, a rumor that we could get another insane announcement even later this month. This announcement is obviously, you read the title, another Switch, and the rumor actually says we could get 2 Switches. However, I'm pretty sure we'd only get one at a time because I just don't feel like they'd show off 2 different revisions of the Switch at once. It would be kind of confusing. However, this rumor is pretty credible, and there's even some evidence from Nintendo's past console revision announcements to back this up. So we're going to jump into this rumor, where it's from, why I think it's actually pretty credible, and what I think it means for Nintendo fans, and even when I think this potential second Switch is going to be announced. All that and more in this video. So jumping on into it, this rumor comes from the Wall Street Journal, and obviously they're not the most credible source when it comes to YouTube drama, but they are pretty credible when it does come to stuff like this. Now, they stated that the Nintendo production facilities, actually for Switches, they moved into Southeast Asia, and they have started work on 2 new Switches. Now, they're saying they actually moved into Southeast Asia due to the China tariff trades that President Trump is putting in just for trades between China and the US. And I mean, that does make sense that Nintendo would want to move their Switch production to Southeast Asia. So basically, Wall Street Journal is saying 2 new Switches are beginning production, and that does match up with earlier rumors we got this year from Forbes stating that Nintendo would be releasing a Switch Mini very soon, like in summer, and Switch Pro by the end of the year. So obviously 2 new Switches, that matches up in both the rumors. On top of that, it is kind of time for a Switch redesign, even though it does seem kind of crazy that the Switch is already this old, because the Switch is over 2 years old at this point. It's kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, it is. However, it seems kind of crazy, right? It's not like Nintendo would pass up announcing a new Switch console at E3. I mean, E3 is where the most eyes are going to be on them. They definitely want to announce it at E3 and not immediately afterwards, right? Well, no, because they've actually done this sort of thing in the past. Exactly 7 years ago, Nintendo announced the Nintendo 3DS XL. It's kind of ironic that people are thinking they're going to announce a Switch Mini, and I mean, they announced a 3DS XL 7 years ago, but it is what it is. So the Nintendo 3DS XL was announced on the 22nd of June, 2012. That's like right after E3. Obviously, it would technically make sense for them to announce it in E3 because there would be more eyes on them, but I guess maybe they don't want it to get overshadowed by all the other company announcements. I'm not sure, but they do have a history of announcing handheld revisions right after E3 instead of at E3. On top of that, with Nintendo's handheld revisions, they typically are shown off and then released very, very soon. So if this does get shown off before maybe the end of the month, or at least at the start of summer, maybe it could be shown off in July, expect a release of this system very, very soon after that, like within the month, which is really, really exciting for Switch owners, just because, I mean, I personally love my Switch, but it's always nice to see revisions coming around because that gets more people to buy a Switch, and obviously more people with the console you have, it's just better overall. So I really hope that this rumor is true, and it's looking like it will be. Last thing I want to mention is that a lot of people are stating that they won't actually reveal it yet because they want to release this Switch Mini alongside Animal Crossing, and that just isn't really based in any truth, I think. That's really just something people think Nintendo will do. However, they've never done that in the past. I don't think any single console revision has launched with a game. And, I mean, of course they could start now, but I just don't really see it happening. On top of that, if they did release it relatively soon, Mario Maker 2, that game is obviously best played in handheld. I mean, even if you saw the Nintendo Treehouse, they had these like weird switches that could screen record, and they were creating levels in handheld because they didn't want to do it on the TV. So it's obvious that Mario Maker 2 is better in handheld, and with a mini, supposedly all handheld Switch coming out, like being the new Switch that is rumored, I mean, it definitely would make sense to launch with Mario Maker as well. But yeah, we're not even sure Nintendo is going to launch this Switch Mini with a specific game. They might just launch it around the same time as a game. They might not do that at all. I mean, there's been no evidence of them doing that in the past, so I would not hold my breath for this to be announced with Animal Crossing Switch. Well, with that all out of the way, that is my rumor report on this rumor that there are 2 new Switches coming very soon. I only focused on one, being like the mini one coming extremely soon, but there is supposedly a Pro coming later, maybe early 2020 or late 2019. That one I think can be pushed off for a bit. I don't think we need that at all, but I think a mini would definitely be useful around this time of year. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know that they've done this in the past with the 3DS XL, so do not be surprised if they announce a new type of Switch within the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.